Hey friends, happy Thursday, the 22nd of December. It's nice to be with you. I'm Father Bill Hill, priest at Holy Spirit Catholic Community in Rock Springs, Wyoming. I will give you a daily reflection or a reflection on the daily readings. They're linked in the sidebar or down below. My goal this week is brevity. I didn't hit it yesterday, but we'll see. My goal is to give you a brief reflection on the readings, especially to give you the chance to pray them, to read them, and to pray them well, especially if all the chaos and the stress of life is eating your lunch, right? Okay. We have a reading from Samuel and the story of Samuel and a psalm response there, and then that's paired with Luke's gospel. So it is the first book of Samuel. It's the story of Samuel being conceived in extraordinary ways and his mother bringing Samuel to the temple to be raised there. Especially what I invite you to is that response of Hannah, because we have here Hannah who gives praise to God for God who looks down on those who are on the margins, ostracized, the vulnerable. And so she was one who, was judged to be outside of the goodness of God because she had not given birth to a child. And she begged and begged and begged, especially at the temple, so much so that the priest thought that she was drunk. And then God gives her a child because of her piety. And so she's able to rejoice that God is a God of reversal and surprises, that the way that we expect God to act oftentimes is not the way that God acts. And that's the response. And so as you pray that response of Hannah, to just perhaps pray for reversal and change. And we'll talk maybe a bit more about solidarity and those who are especially looking for that in the gospel. So you can appreciate then we have Luke's gospel and we have Mary who gives praise to God. This is in the context of the gospel story from yesterday. Mary and Elizabeth, and Mary visiting Elizabeth who is older and pregnant, and Mary who goes to be with her. And so Mary gives praise to God. This is called the Magnificat. It's a canticle of praise for all that God has done. Notice how prophetic Mary's voice is. Mary talks about God scattering the proud in their conceit, casting the mighty down from their thrones, lifting up the lowly. The well-fed are sent away empty. Bad news for me, who am very well-fed. And the hungry are finally given to eat. Maybe just pray this slowly. Maybe pray it a couple of times slowly. Allow the uncomfortable imagery and language that probably challenges us in some of our middle-class complacency, allow it to be present and to challenge us. And especially, like I said, solidarity, to maybe in a moment of silence, just pray for all people that are struggling in these days. Certainly people that are struggling with basic needs, folks that are going to be, working to serve us on holiday times, people that are feeling lonely, cut off, people that are really stuck in grief or sadness or loss or depression or whatever sorts of places they may be in these holiday times, When things are going great and we're surrounded by all the wonderful things of the season, it's wonderful. We might lose sight of those who are in need. And I think that Mary's Magnificat reminds us that God pays attention to them, and we are invited to have hearts for our brothers and sisters on the fringes, on the margins, and the vulnerable especially. Let's hold them in prayer. Let's be people of action like Mary. Read those readings prayerfully. Spend some time with God. Happy Thursday, friends.